So a lot of people had questions about how to use the freezer paper method to do the doormats. This doormat I just bought from Target. It's like the $10 doormat. It is 30 inches by 18 inches. So on my InDesign space, I just made the design that I wanted. The middle font is Autumn in November, and then The and Family is done in antique book cover. So I cut everything out and I laid it out. Now I prefer the freezer paper method over the contact paper method for a few reasons. One, price-wise it's about the same, but I like it because it takes me forever to get things in position in the right places. And with the contact paper, the more you put it on this material, like pieces of it pick off, it's going to get stuck to your freezer or to your contact paper. Using the freezer paper, it doesn't like ruin the freezer paper. So if you take forever to place something, you may want to use freezer paper instead of contact paper. Now, a lot of people said that they had a hard time getting it to stick down. Now, if you're expecting this to stick down like it does on a t-shirt, that's not the case for me. But what you can see is you can kind of see like some ripples in here. That's because I set my iron literally on the highest setting that my iron can go on, and all I do is I take it and I push down on it and I use the all of my weight to get it to go down, and I kind of leave it on there for a few seconds just so that it gets good and hot, and then I release it. Now what you can do is you can see like it moves, but it doesn't really move. It's stuck down, but it's not so stuck down that like I couldn't pick and peel this off if I really wanted to. Okay, so you just kind of need to make sure that it's like good and it's like stuck on there. And all I did literally was highest temperature and all of my body weight to get it to stick down, and I leave it kind of on there for a few seconds. Now I'm paranoid because like spending $10 on a doormat and then you really don't want to mess it up. What I did is you can see like in like the little pieces here, like those little center pieces, I put some pins because I watched the video on how to use vinyl to do it, which is really expensive to do for a doormat. And her pieces ended up picking off anyways, so it really wasn't better than using freezer paper. The freezer paper, these little pieces do have a hard time. Now this one is good and stuck down because it's bigger, but the really little ones don't really stick down very well. So what I did was I took straight pins and I put a couple of pieces in. Now I'm also paranoid about these like corner pieces that they're gonna get all messed up and pull up. So even though they are stuck down like really, really good, I still will go in and I'll still put like some pins in here just to kind of make sure that it stays down and doesn't curl up. And you can see like these little pieces here I do it in. I kind of do it in the corners where I'm like paranoid it's gonna pop up at, especially like these little thin pieces. Also like in the word family, like the tops of the M's, like I'm always nervous. Those seem to come up a lot easier than the other parts of letters, so I go ahead and I put them in there too. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and put my pins kind of everywhere where I think that they needed to be put down. Now in the one that I did that people asked me a lot of questions about was how did I get my my paint so like really good coverage of my paint. First of all, this is the paint that I used and I bought it at Michael's. I think it was like $2.99 for the bottle maybe, and I used like a 40% off coupon on it. Now I've already made one doormat on this and I probably have only used like maybe a third of the bottle. And these are the brushes that I used to make it. They're called like bounce brushes. And you can get them at Michael's, but for like 5 of them, I think it was like almost $6. But I bought this pack of 10 and they have like a bunch of different sizes in it. And I got this for like $3 at Walmart. So, and I just happened to come across them. So if you want some of these, that would probably be the best place to go get them. So all I did was then I used these and I just kind of go through, like these hold paint, or these pick up a lot of paint, but they don't hold it. So they apply it in there really nicely. And I did 2 coats. And then it came out like really nice and thick black. It was done really well. You didn't have any of the brown kind of popping through or anything, and some people were complaining about coverage, that they weren't getting good coverage. So that's how I got good coverage. Now when I was done, and it was for the most part semi-dry, like maybe a little tacky, I pulled out all of the straight pins and then I just peeled it all off. I did not wait until it was dry. I mean, you could if you wanted to. I was just too impatient because it was my first one. So I was too impatient to wait, and so I just peeled it off right away. Okay, so that is how I did it. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. I've answered quite a few people's questions as much as I could about the freezer paper method, but I'd be happy to answer anything else that you may have. And good luck with your doormats.